Welcome to the ICA Regional Hub at Manipal. I would also like to bring to your attention that Manipal Institute of Communication is the only institution in South Asia to be hosting the regional hub. Before we start the formal program, I request all of you to be seated and keep your mobiles switched off or on silent mode. The program will be held in a hybrid mode, and we will be joined by panelists, guests online over the next few days. Welcome to one and all present here in person, as well as to anyone who has joined us virtually. Before commencing with the program, I'd like to familiarize the audience about the International Communication Association, which is the ICA, of which this is the 72nd annual conference with the theme One World, One Network. ICA began 50 years ago as a small research association in the US and now has over 5,000 members in over 80 countries. ICA is also associated with the United Nations and aims to advance the scholarly study of communication by facilitating excellence in academic research worldwide. The conference here at Manipal pans out over the next 5 days, where we will be joined by researchers who have championed their areas of work. To start the event today, I would like to call upon Ms. Rekha Rao for the invocation.
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं दासनागुदಕ್ಕೆ सुजन्मद सुकृत वसुधारपि कोटि श्रीशगुणवन्त नाश रहित निन्ददासर दास्यवनाश रहित निन्ददासर दास्यव लेसागी कोडुकन्य पुरंदर विठल दासना बुदಕ್ಕೆ सुजन्मद सुकृत भासुरार विकोटि श्रीशगुणवन्त. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for the beautiful rendition. As we move ahead with the program, I would like to welcome the director of Manipal Institute of Communication, Dr. Padma Rani, ma'am, to offer the welcome.
Honorable Vice Chancellor of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Lieutenant General Dr. M.D. Venkatesh, respected Professor M.D. Nalpat, UNESCO Peace Chair, colleagues from Manipal Institute of Communication and other institutions, and students, a warm good morning to all of you. I deem it my privilege as Director of Manipal Institute of Communication to welcome each one of you present physically and virtually for the ICA Regional Hub Manipal 2022. International Communication Association, popularly known as ICA, is a group of media and communication scholars from across the world. It is an organization facilitating and encouraging excellence in academic research worldwide. The 72nd annual ICA conference is being held at Paris from today till 30th May 2022. We are one of the satellite centers of this conference, the Regional Hub. The theme of this year's conference is One World, One Network, emphasizing on globalization and networks. This year, the ICA has selected 11 regional hubs across the globe. You can see them on the background. Manipal is the only regional hub to be selected from South Asia. Through the regional hub, ICA aims to reach out to the scholars across the world and become a truly global body of researchers. The process of application for this ICA regional hub began way back in September 2021, and the selection of Manipal Institute of Communication as a regional hub was confirmed only in February 2022. Since then, the PhD researchers or the MICSRF has been consistently working in trying to contact scholars through whom we are going to have interactions, as well as select the programs. Because of the time difference, we cannot attend all the programs from Paris, but the selected ones which will help us in our research. In the Manipal Regional Hub, we are hosting 3 panels, one on media systems in South Asia, chaired by Professor B.P. Sanjay, the second on animation and design studies by Mr. Balaji AC, and the third on health and risk communication strategies during COVID-19 by Mrs. Manjula Venkatraghavan. In addition to these, we have interaction sessions with renowned scholars on all the 5 days. Today, after the inaugural, we'll be interacting with Mr. Samwa Mitra, who is a conflict and war journalist and a researcher on the same. Tomorrow, we are interacting with Sonia Livingston, a pioneer in the field of digital media. I think all of us who study and work on digital media have to refer to Sonia Livingston. On the 28th, we are interacting with Arunima Krishnan, who is at the Boston University and does research on PR and advertising. On the 30th Monday, we are interacting with Dr. Srividya Ramasubramaniam from Synchronous University, who works on race, culture, and multicultural communication, and is also an expert in qualitative methods. In addition to these, we have 11 programs which will be live streamed from Paris, in which we can interact with scholars from across the world. These programs consist of panels on health communication, digital media, public relations, feminist studies, some of the interest areas of our researchers at Manipal Institute of Communication. We'll also be participating in a Blue Sky workshop on digital ethnography. Today, for the inaugural of the ICA Regional Hub, it's our privilege to have our Vice Chancellor of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Lieutenant General Dr. M.D. Venkatesh, as our chief guest. He is an ENT surgeon, an educationist, and an administrator par excellence. I welcome you, sir. Professor M.D. Nalpat, who's joined us virtually, an UNESCO Chair for Peace, Justice, and Human Rights, is a renowned journalist and a professor of geopolitics and author. I extend my cordial welcome to you, sir. I welcome my colleagues from Manipal Institute of Communication and other institutions across the country who have joined for this session virtually. A warm welcome to the research scholars of MIC and the students present both physically and virtually. Hope all of you have an enriching experience in the 5 days of the hub as the research scholars have had in putting them together. Once again, a warm welcome to one and all present here. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. It is now time to introduce our chief guest for the inaugural event. We have in our presence the Vice Chancellor of Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Lieutenant General Dr. M.D. Venkatesh. Dr. Venkatesh himself, an ENT surgeon, has contributed significantly in the field of medical education. He has trained generations of students in the Armed Forces Medical College of Pune and was also dean at the end of his tenure. Dr. Venkatesh's achievements are not only bound to the medical arena, but also encompass academic and administrative merits, and his remarkable leadership qualities and team building skills have taken several institutions to heights of recognition. I would like to call upon Lieutenant General Dr. M.D. Venkatesh to address the audience.
Very good morning to everyone here and warm greetings. Professor M.D. Nalpat, the presiding officer for today's function, Director MIC, senior faculty members, students, research scholars, and all the online audience. It's a matter of great pride and privilege for me to be present here today when one of our institutions is deservedly getting an international recognition. That Manipal Institute of Communication will become a regional hub for Southeast Asia for International Communication Association. It's important that such connections, such networks with other institutions and other research associations will bring in more and more insight into research in media and communication and will make our institutions profile much better and forward-looking, and also provides opportunity for our students and our research scholars to be interacting with some of the best-known names in media and communication from across the world. International Communication Association, I understand, began 50 years ago as a small association in the US with a handful of researchers, but over a period of last 50 years is now truly an international association with more than 5,000 members across 80 countries. It's truly very encouraging and very pleased to know that MIC has been recognized, been invited to be the international hub for ICA. In the 72nd annual conference of ICA, the theme of the conference is One World, One Network. The conference is to be held in Paris between 26th and 30th May 2022. I'm extremely pleased that our hub is also actively participating with academic discussions, with panel discussion, and also we'll have the opportunity to listen. It's important that the research should become internalized in all the faculty, research scholars, and even students of MCI. I understand the difficulties of publishing in humanities and social sciences is a bit difficult, but it's not impossible. Therefore, please, there's a need for us to increase our research output. May not be in part of articles in journals, but definitely you could publish in newspapers, publish in magazines, you could write articles or get a book published out of the research work of the scholars. That I'm speaking in front of some of the biggest stalwarts in the media world, Professor Nalpa, and all of the faculty members. It's a humbling experience for me. But as I see that there is a change in the way that media and communication is functioning across the world. Therefore, it's important for all of us to keep abreast of the changes that are happening, be prepared for the changes that are happening, and also think futuristically as what possible changes can occur so that all of us are ready and prepared to be part of this new changing media world. Media and communication is definitely the future of the entire world, and the theme of one world, one network is very apt. Today, the entire world is networked virtually. Each one of us can reach out to anybody in the planet and be communicating with them, be interacting with them, and share our knowledge, share our concerns, share our important aspects that we are learning or about to learn. So on this auspicious occasion of MIC being recognized as a Southeast Asia hub, I congratulate Dr. Padmarani and the entire team of MIC for achieving this recognition. And I hope and wish that this opportunity for international networking is utilized to its best by our faculty and scholars. Going forward, just a word about what happened in the last couple of days in Mahe. I'm extremely pleased to inform you all that the NAC peer team had great things to say about MIC. We're very happy with the way the institution is functioning, the facilities that were showcased to them. I must say that MIC has showcased itself in a most wonderful fashion over the last 3 days to the NAC peer team, and it does find mention in my discussions with the peer team and with the team leader. So congratulations, continue the good work, and I'm sure very shortly we will see MIC at the top of the heap in media and communication institutions, which it already is, but there is scope for improvement. And of course, one thing that they mentioned is that concern is about the quantum of publication. So this today's occasion allows you to increase your research output and be counted amongst the best media institutions in the country. I once again congratulate Dr. Padmarani and the entire team for this excellent recognition, and I'm sure that the entire staff, faculty, and students of MIC will make the best use of this networking opportunity. Thank you very much, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your words of encouragement. This inauguration program is also presided over by Dr. M.D. Nalpa, who holds the UNESCO Peace Chair and is the director of the Department of Communication. He will be joining us virtually today. I'll just ensure that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to say that I'm quite honored to be invited today, and we have had a very inspiring and comprehensive talk by the Vice Chancellor, and I would also like to join him in congratulating the MIC for the immensely good work that it is doing and which has been recognized. I am particularly happy because of the subject, One World, One Network, because the reality is, and the International Communication Association is the ideal body to recognize this. The fact is, communication is an integral part of a stable world. It's an integral part of either a world that is falling apart, that is lagging behind, where the years move, the months ahead are worse than the months previously, rather than the opposite as they should be, or an entirely different kind of world. For the reality is, communications is the lifeblood that makes or destroys a society. And the reason for this is that whether it be war or peace, whether it be working in harmony and cooperation, as very clearly MIC is doing. And I'd like to say our entire campus in Manipal. If you look at Manipal, it is exactly one world, one network. We have students and staff from across the world. They come from different countries. They come from different time zones. They come from different societal traditions. And yet here in Manipal, they are one. They are networked together as one. So in a microcosm, our campus reflects this very important subject that has been chosen by the ICA for this particular conference, and that is one world, one network. And again, I repeat, communications is extremely important for the future of humanity. Now, there may be those who say, well, why should we bother? We should bother because, after all, humanity concerns all of us, and therefore we should bother. I'd like to just flag a few issues here regarding communications, and that is the need for this, as what has been implied in one world, one network, the need to ensure a free flow of communication and a free flow of information. We really do not know. It's like, frankly, prospecting for gold in an isolated desert. We don't know where exactly the lode of gold is going to be. And it may need significant prospecting before we find that particular mother lode. In the same way, we may not know what the true facts are about a situation unless we gain access to them. And the only way we can gain access to them is through searching for them, and searching for them across a variety of sources, across a variety of communication mediums, and across, of course, a variety of time zones, which it goes without saying in an internationally functioning university such as ours. I'm quite happy that the ICA has made Manipal a regional hub, because in that sense, it recognizes the reality of Manipal being a microcosm of its own ideal of one world. So I'd only like to flag a few issues that frankly may not be unknown to you. And that is the need to really internalize and understand two or three facts of a situation. One, public to public contact, public to public collaboration. As a geopolitical example, India and the United States. Even during the decades when our two governments were not at all friendly to each other, people of both countries were coming to the other's country, working in the other's country, and frankly, forming a dense network of relationships that ensured that the India-US relationship was not a top-down relationship. It was a relationship that had its foundation in people, in what was at one time tens of thousands and is now tens of millions of people from both countries working to make this dense network of relationships between these two biggest democracies in the world a reality. What I'm trying to say is that no matter, let us assume that sometimes governments get it wrong on policy in different countries, but it doesn't. But so long as a citizen is enabled to understand a situation in all its facets, then eventually that, if I may say so, that wisdom of the citizen will percolate and hopefully ensure changes in policy that create harmony. We are seeing today a world, frankly, where war is no longer the exception, it is almost becoming the norm. The latest example of this is the war that was begun on 24th February of this year, when Russia and Russian forces invaded large parts of Ukraine. But the reality is, it's not the Ukrainian people, it's not the Russian people. It may not even be, it's not even their governments, I'm sure, that are looking for war. It's a question of understanding each other. And in understanding each other, healthy, transparent, and free-flowing communication is absolutely important. In this sense, I would say knowledge of each other is important in removing ideas of, let us say, triumphalism, that, my country is superior to your country. My people are superior to your people. The reality is that is not the case. You find superior individuals across societies, across income levels, across fields of experience. And therefore, if we look at ourselves as human beings, if we look at ourselves as microcosms in a common humanity, we have to understand there is nothing called a superior or an inferior individual. Each of us have certain strengths, each of us has certain weaknesses. Regrettably, this kind of a communication, of this kind of an equality of human beings has not been stressed enough. There has been, unfortunately, a lot of historical baggage of triumphalism, a lot of historical baggage that we are superior, others are not. And in that sense, the past is an overhang upon us. The fact is, the past is over. The present is where we exist. And the future is uncertain. The pursuit of all of us is to ensure that the future becomes less uncertain. The future becomes brighter in terms of peace, in terms of harmony, in terms of mutual understanding. And for that, I'd like to say the field in which you're engaged in, communications, the association of which Manipal is such an integral part, the International Communication Association, is very much part of the process of building this better world. I remain an optimist. I've always been an optimist, and I remain an optimist. Why? Because in the human beings that I come across, in the people that I come across, in every one of them, there is that spark of goodness. There is that spark of common humanity. And I think discovery of that common humanity is our task as human beings. Discovery of how excellence can be created through multiple sources and through multiple ways and multiple means is part of the task that Manipal has set itself and in a sense proved itself, and which I think the ICA has very correctly zeroed in to concentrate on. This is a very, very important topic. It's a very, very important association that we are a proud and integral part of. And I would like to wish this conference all success. And I'd like to say it is not only a question of success for Manipal, for the other members of the ICA. Your success is going to be the success of countries all over the world who depend on free flowing, independent, and various, if I may say so, efforts at discovering the truth in different situations. That is an essential part of ensuring that the world of the future, the uncertain world of the future, becomes a glorious present. And that is the work that we are all engaged in. That is the work that our university in a small way is engaged in, the ICA is engaged in. And in that work, all I can say, I'm privileged to have been allowed to participate by Dr. Padmarani, and I thank her very much for this opportunity. Namaskar.
I would like to ask Krishna Priya TK, the Student Research Forum representative of MIC, to give the vote of thanks.
A very good afternoon, one and all present here. On behalf of Manipal Institute of Communication and MICSRF, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to International Communication Association, especially Dr. Noshi Contractor, President ICA, for this momentous opportunity. I would like to thank Lieutenant General Dr. M.T. Venkatesh, Vice Chancellor, Manipal Academy of Higher Education, for his esteemed presence here with us today. Thank you, sir. My sincere gratitude to Professor Madhavdas Nalpat for gracing this occasion with his insightful words and setting the pace for our conference. Thank you very much, sir. This event would not have been possible without the tremendous efforts of Dr. Padmalani. Thank you, ma'am, for all the endless back and forth between ICA and us. And my very special thanks to Professor Sanjay for his constant guidance and unparalleled enthusiasm. A vote of thanks here is incomplete without mentioning my fellow MICSRF members whose hard work has actually taken us to this juncture today. Thank you all. I'm also very much thankful to all our faculty, non-teaching staff members and students. Once again, thank you all. I really hope you have a wonderful 5 days ahead.
Thank you everyone for your presence. Please join us again at 2:30 p.m. for our first interactive session.